The Women's Fund of Rhode Island uses a community-based team of grant reviewers to look at the grant proposals that come through to the Women's Fund and make recommendations using a gender lens to our board of directors on what grants we should fund each year. This year, the Women's Fund of Rhode Island, with its grant review team and the board, is pleased to make a commitment of $120,000 over 2 years to 7 nonprofit organizations that are each addressing gender and racial equity in a number of different ways. The grants that we are funding this year address a number of issues, and some of them are directly related to COVID, as well as the current racial climate. We're pleased this year to make a 2-year commitment to SISTA Fire, who is doing reproductive justice work centered on the experience of women of color and disrupting the white supremacy culture by building a network for doulas and birth workers of color. In addition, we will be funding Sojourner House with $20,000 over 2 years to provide support for intimate partner violence prevention education for youth, teaching them about the dynamics of healthy relationships, promoting self-respect within relationships, and also sharing warning signs of abusive relationships. We will also be providing $20,000 to the Rhode Island Coalition Against Domestic Violence for support for their Advocates of Color Leadership Development Program to advance economic justice, providing strategies to enhance leadership skills and professional development opportunities delivered by and designed for women of color, and to increase the number of advocates of color who are engaged in public advocacy related to economic justice. We'll once again be funding the Center for Women in Enterprise with a $20,000 commitment to support their Spanish language entrepreneurship and business planning training. This year, we're pleased to welcome a new grantee, the SEIU Education and Support Fund, with a $20,000 commitment to support business courses for 30 family child care providers based on the model of All of Our Kin, which will increase the understanding by family child care providers of best business practice, improving financial practices, and enhancing the efficiency of their programs. Many of these child care providers are, again, women of color. We are also pleased to welcome another new grantee in recent years. We are making a commitment of about $11,000 to the Rhode Island for Community and Justice Organization to support their Young Women's Equity Council, which will establish a diversity, equity, and inclusion training and mentoring program to ensure that there is a cohort of women of color who are enthusiastic and qualified to fill open DEI positions right out of college. And finally, we are pleased to support Planned Parenthood of Southern New England with a $9,000 commitment over 2 years to support the work of the Coalition for Reproductive Freedom, focusing on legislative activities related to reproductive justice. Currently, these include the Equality and Abortion Coverage Act, the Doula Reimbursement Act, and no copay for birth control. If you'd like to learn more about these grantees, we invite you to reach out to the Women's Fund of Rhode Island. We hope that you also will support the work that they are doing beyond the grants and funds that you provide to the Women's Fund of Rhode Island. Thank you, and good luck to our grantees.